Good afternoon, folks. Firstly, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here today on the Microsoft Intune Suite webinar hosted by CDW Canada. My name is Shoaib Mawani. I'm a Microsoft Cloud Solutions Architect here at CDW. Been with CDW for approximately 6 years now, and I've been in the Microsoft space for 10 years. And today joining me on the webinar is Hashir Hassan, my colleague. Over to you, Hashir, for a quick intro.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining in today. My name is Hashir Hassan, and I'm a part of the professional services team here in CDW Canada. And I'm excited to walk you through a quick demo of Microsoft Intune and show you how it simplifies device setup, app management, and your user support in a modern workplace. So I'll hand it back to you, Shoaib, to kick off our presentation, and I'll see you guys in a bit.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ashir. All right, so there's plenty of content to get through, so let's jump right into it. Folks, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, any suggestions, please throw them in the chat. We have a few people monitoring the chat to answer any of your Intune questions or Intune Suite questions. So we welcome all the questions you have, please. So agenda for today, we're going to go through why CDW Canada, why should you be working with CDW Canada on our Microsoft practice? We're going to do a quick recap of Microsoft Intune, and then we're going to jump into the new features that Microsoft has introduced with the Intune Suite. Provided we jump into a demo right after, provided by Hashir. And then we will be talking a little bit about the CDW Canada services. So what kind of standard offerings we have around the M365 suite, around the Intune suite, as well as around Intune. We also have a few resources for you guys to go through, get a little bit better understanding of our services and what they entail. So let's get started over here. Perfect. Why CDW Canada? Why would you want to work with CDW Canada on our Microsoft practice? Right now, CDW and Microsoft have a long-standing relationship. CDW Canada has been a gold partner of Microsoft for more than 10 years. Now, this long-standing partnership highlights our expertise and commitment to delivering high-quality solutions using Microsoft technologies, right? There are a few CDW value adds that we provide on our Microsoft practice. For example, working with dedicated Microsoft team like solution architects, of my team, myself as well. We are trained, certified solution architects that can help understand your business challenges and accordingly architect Microsoft solutions to help with those business challenges, right? You also get access to customer success managers and licensing specialists. These are exceptional folks that can not only help understand your cloud-based licensing, but also your on-premises-based licensing. Another value add is license optimization exercises, right? This is something that our licensing specialists provide free of cost, running through license optimization exercises. Oftentimes, I've come across many clients that are licensed on M365 E5, but maybe are just using the capabilities of like Business Standard or Business Basic, and that's wasted investment, right? So that's wasted investment that could potentially be put towards services engagements. So our licensing specialists come in to kind of help understand the user personas and match the appropriate Microsoft licenses to that user capability, right? Next is dedicated CSP portal. So a few other value adds that once you start working with us on Microsoft licensing, you get a dedicated CSP portal personalized for you, right? So go in there, manage your licenses, increase the count, decrease the count as you wish. The days are gone where you have to send an email to an account rep every time you want additional licenses, right? We can help provide that dedicated CSP portal. We also do provide clip trainings for end users, right? So this is a vendor that we work with that provides short snippets of trainings for end users on multiple Microsoft workloads. So this we've seen very successful in certain enterprise organizations where the end users just need that little push to start using Microsoft workloads, right? Lastly, you also get access to Microsoft Professional and Managed Services. That goes without saying, and we'll discover that in this presentation as well. Specializations, of course, not to mention the specializations CDW Canada holds: data and AI, digital and app innovation, infrastructure, modern work, security, and business application. Beyond this, the recognitions that we've had in the past couple of years: 2023 Modern Work Partner of the Year, 2024 Surface Partner of the Year, 2024 AI Partner of the Year finalist. CDW Canada, if not, is the top tier partner, Microsoft partner to work with in Canada. All right, Moving on, let's take a quick recap of Microsoft Intune before we jump into the Intune suite, right? Now, for those of you who don't know, Microsoft Intune is a mobile device management solution provided by Microsoft that's embedded within some of the Microsoft suites of Business Premium, M365, E3, and E5. Now, what I like about Microsoft Intune is that not only does it help manage the mobile device management layer, so corporate devices, but also provides a layer of mobile application management, right? So these are BYOD devices that your end users may be using, and Intune can help ensure that those devices are compliant and the corporate data on those devices are secure to access by end users, right? So Intune, being a fairly versatile tool, can work with many different platforms like Windows, macOS, iOS, and Android. And the mobile application management piece to it works beyond this, right? So it doesn't matter which platform the end user is using, it'll be able to help provide that mobile application layer. Now, what do I mean by mobile application layer, right? So Intune uses app protection policies to provide that mobile application management layer on multiple platforms of devices, right? So we have a quick snippet on this slide over here of what that looks like from an end user perspective. It's essentially on an Android device, you would be able to actively switch between corporate and personal data. What I like to call it, to make it simpler, is a corporate bubble of applications. And app protection policies ensures that within that corporate bubble of applications, the user's data stays secure. So corporate data stays secure. So for example, a user would not be able to copy certain from Outlook and paste it into certain third-party applications like WhatsApp, Instagram, or Twitter, right? And vice versa. So for example, a user will not be able to copy from WhatsApp and paste it into Outlook, just to make sure that DLP layer is provided on BYOD devices. Now, this works similarly on iOS devices as well, but it's more of a back-end thing on iOS, right? On the front end, the user will not notice the difference. There's no active passive switch. It's just in the back end, everything is within a corporate bubble of applications. Next, I want to touch quickly on autopilot, right? Don't want to spend too much time over here. We'll jump into Intune Suite right after. Just to give you a quick recap, this is zero-touch onboarding for Windows devices. We've helped many of our clients refine their employee onboarding process using autopilot. Just one thing I want you to keep in mind over here is that autopilot will work differently based on whether you are hybrid joined or Entra ID joined, but we will go through that in the presentation as well as the demo. But let's spend a little bit of time understanding Intune Suite and some of the new features that Microsoft has introduced into the Intune, right? Now, I like to call this the 6 pillars of Intune Suite, right? Remote help being the very first pillar. I also call that the team viewer killer. This is provided directly through Intune, and we're gonna understand what that is a little bit in a moment. Advanced application management. Application management, the feature that I mentioned earlier, is already part of Intune, but they've enhanced it with the use of Intune Suite, introducing a few features to the layer of application management. Cloud-based certificate management. This is absolutely crazy. I would have never thought Microsoft would introduce Cloud PKI features in Intune, but here we are. You have Cloud PKI features for all managed devices through Intune, so we're going to dive deep into that. Advanced endpoint analytics, anomaly detection. If you know what I mean by anomaly detection on endpoints, that's what we're going to discover on the advanced endpoint analytics. Endpoint privilege management, the bane of help desk existence, right? Can you help me install this app? Endpoint privilege management takes that friction away and makes it very seamless for your users to be able to install certain applications. Lastly, Tunnel for mobile application management. This is a VPN tunnel provided for the mobile application management layer that I mentioned earlier on BYOD devices, and we'll go through that in a moment as well. So first, let's talk a little bit about Cloud PKI features, right? This is something that Microsoft has recently introduced into Intune. And firstly, I want to mention that this is supported for not only just Windows, but macOS, iOS, and Android, right? Being able to push, manage, and take away certificates from certain devices directly through Intune is absolutely crazy. I'm not a PKI guy. I don't know the first thing about standing up on-premises PKI infrastructure, but I was yet still able to push certificate authorities, SCEP-based device, or user-based certificate authorities through Intune. right? Now, standing up a traditional PKI infrastructure easily will cost you anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000 just in Microsoft licenses. We're not even talking about the hardware you'd have to purchase, the time it takes to set that up and manage those certificates as well. In Intune, with a few clicks, you'd be able to push out certificate authorities to all Intune managed devices and have passwordless authentication for your Wi-Fi and VPN. I also like to call it a handshake authentication, makes it easier for me to understand. So you'd be able to have handshake authentication for Wi-Fi and VPN. This makes it so easy for new users to get onboarded, as well as if you're provisioning devices using autopilot, right? Being able to remotely push those certificates for new users that have joined the organization. And the first time they come into the office, they're already connected to the VPN. No need for help desk, no need to reach out to IT to understand what's going on, right? Another quick thing I'm going to mention over here is dashboard metrics, right? So with Intune Cloud PKI, you'd be able to kind of review issued, revoked, expired certificates. You would also be able to make sure you're removing certificates for devices that are retiring, deleting, getting deleted, or being wiped off, right? Before the device itself is wiped off. So Cloud PKI features are now in Intune. If you want to see more of a personalized demo on this, please do get in touch with us and we'd be happy to schedule some time with you. Next is remote help on Windows and Mac OS. So like how I like to say it is team, you're a killer. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? Within one pane of Intune, we would be able to initiate a remote help session. And the cool thing is that this is supported by Windows, Android, and Mac OS devices, right? So this is done in essentially two ways, depending on how it's deployed. One is where the user has to accept saying that, hey, I want this person to come in and kind of manage my device and help me with my help desk request. Or the IT admin can have the privilege to just go in and make those necessary changes should this be a shared or kiosk device, right? So depending on how this is configured, you have both options. There's also conditional access that's built in. So just before initiating the remote help session, both individuals can be asked to trigger MFA just to ensure there's a layer of security that's added on top of remote help. All right, moving on. The next one is Tunnel for MAM, right? So Microsoft Tunnel for Mobile Application Management. Now, Microsoft Tunnel for MAM extends Microsoft Tunnel VPN Gateway to support devices that run on Android or iOS and are not enrolled with Intune, right? Specifically not. So we discussed a little bit about the mobile application management earlier for BYD devices. Simply put, Microsoft Tunnel is a VPN tunnel for BYOD, mobile application management layer. What this does is essentially being able to provide VPN capabilities on click based on either the application or the device itself, right? It's a very seamless experience for the users. It's auto launch based on the application. So for example, if a user clicks Edge or any other corporate application, the VPN tunnel would initiate automatically in the backend without the user even knowing what's going on, right? So there are a couple of advantages of this, right? Number one is end users remain in control of their personal device. If they feel like they don't want to use a corporate device, they want to use more of a personal device for corporate and personal needs, then they would be able to kind of just have one personal device and access corporate data from wherever they want. No MDM device enrollment required. Company data remains protected, right? So although we are not putting an entire MDM layer on that device, more of an MAM layer, so you're just managing the corporate applications. So the device technically does not need to be enrolled or fully enrolled into Intune. Enables companies to adopt a BYOD program instead of purchasing company-owned devices for employees, right? So reducing overhead costs is the number one goal for every organization out there. And this is something that could help you get there, right? So if the users are more inclined to use their own device, why not give them that freedom? Let's just make sure that the way that they're going about doing it is secure and compliant manner, right? Perfect. Just taking a quick pause over here, guys. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We'd be happy to help them. Any suggestions are welcomed as well. So please throw them in the chat. We have a few people monitoring the chat as well. Right, next one is endpoint privilege management. Now, endpoint privilege management, I've come across a lot of help desk IT admins that have so many requests for users just wanting to install applications, right? So essentially, endpoint privilege management is giving the user the capability or certain admin rights, not full admin, but certain admin rights to be able to install the application on their own, right? One of the ways you could do this is through automatic elevation based on the type of application. So for example, if it's Notepad, Google Chrome, Adobe, these applications are okay for corporate devices and can be pushed out. But if it's an application that's like Dropbox, right? A personal Dropbox, you don't want that on a corporate device. Doesn't need to be on a corporate device. If you've provided the user with OneDrive or a corporate Dropbox is fine, or OneDrive is fine, right? But we don't want any personal applications on a corporate device or golfing app, right? So that's where this comes in very handy and reduces the friction in terms of opening up a support ticket and waiting for support to approve it, right? So based on the application, the user can get automated privileges to be able to install that application. The other way this works is user confirmed, right? So user can provide a business justification as to why they should be given the rights to that application. Now, keep in mind, this does not give them full admin rights. Only a constrained set of binaries can be elevated, right? So they will only get access to install that application. They would not have full admin rights to change things in their device. But this is one way that I think I like a little bit more because it has a business justification included in it, and it can also be audited in the backend, right, whenever it's created. So that's one of the ways where you could have endpoint privilege management configured. Lastly is the support approved. So this is the IT help desk coming in to review what is this application? Should we review? Should we accept it? Should we kind of deny this approval process? So similarly, they would put in a business justification, and then someone would have to either approve or deny it from support. Right? Kind of takes away the friction. We don't have to go through maybe service desk, open up a support ticket. Someone has to look at it, remote enter the device, log in as admin, and then install the application. Takes away all of that friction and kind of makes it very seamless for users to continue their work, right? To be able to kind of just go in, get their work done, and complete their day of for their essentially their 9 to 5. Just make sure it's extremely seamless. Next is advanced enterprise application management, right? So this is where we mentioned certain features have been enhanced, right? And enterprise application management is kind of taking the layer that's already available for application management in, for example, Intune Plan 1, and kind of providing an enterprise catalog, right? So this is supported for Windows, but it provides an entire catalog of over 500 different first and third party applications. So where this comes in very handy is traditionally Intune was not able to let you know when there is a new version of application out there, right? You would need someone to kind of monitor that, go and check whether there's a new version of the software available, and then upload it again and push it out. But now this is built into the enterprise app catalog, and you as clients can also request Microsoft to add certain applications into that enterprise app catalog for Windows, for essentially Windows platforms, right? So there are applications that can self-update, auto-update, and applications that don't self-update, right? Now I say auto-update with an asterisk. There is still a user involved. There's still a few clicks involved to make sure that auto-update is initiated from an Intune side of things. But essentially, it will at least let you know that there's a new version available for example, for Zoom. And with a few clicks of a button, you'd be able to kind of supersede and make sure that the Zoom that's available for all of your managed endpoints is on the latest version update. And for applications that don't self-update, you can at least ensure that there's a specific version that you can mention for an application. At least this version needs to be installed across the board, and Intune will go ahead and push out, at the very least, that version of the application to all of the managed devices, right? Next is advanced endpoint analytics, right? So advanced endpoint analytics is giving you endpoint analytics on all of your Intune managed endpoints. Right now, anomaly detection. Traditionally, to be able to get anomaly detection, you would have to stand up an entire SIM infrastructure, not only purchase Microsoft licenses, manage it, configure it, right? Quite a bit of costing involved with setting up an entire SIM infrastructure. Now, don't get me wrong, SIM is a great solution. It's a fantastic investment. It can manage your endpoint, it can detect your endpoints, your servers, even servers that are in third-party cloud. But I always say don't leave a stone unturned, right? If you just need anomaly detection on endpoints. You don't need to make that massive investment into SIEM. Maybe Intune Suite could fulfill those requirements, right? So let's look at Intune Suite if you're looking for some kind of anomaly detection on your endpoints and analytics before we make that massive investment in SIEM. Along with endpoint analytics, it also gives you kind of reporting into app crashes, app unresponsiveness, device booting, device logon, and anomaly detected events. So making sure that help desk already knows that there's a problem with a specific device before a help desk ticket is even raised, right? So we're already getting ahead of the user before the user is even raising the help desk ticket. The IT help desk admin would know to kind of remote in and see what's going on. Right now, those were just a quick overview of all of the 6 features that are available in the Intune Suite. With that, I'm going to be handing over to Hashir for a quick demo walkthrough on his end.
Thanks, Shoaib. Hey, everyone. I'll be covering 3 key areas today. One of them which will be autopilot, enterprise application management, and remote help. So the latter 2, which are part of our Intune Suite. So to save us some time and to go through it fully, I've recorded a pre-recorded video for autopilot deployment, and then we'll move on to some live demos. So let me just quickly share my screen. Let's take a look at how a Windows Autopilot device works from a user's perspective. And this is what a brand new corporate device would look like from right out of the box. The user is going to be powering on our device. It's going to be connecting to a network. And from there on, Autopilot takes over. So what we're seeing here is the device is going to be reaching out to the cloud to check out for any latest updates that are being offered. And if there are any updates, it's going to be applying to those updates to our device. And if those updates require a reboot of that machine, it'll handle all that process within this phase here. So for my machine here, it required a reboot. So what I'll do is kind of just skip through this part. And what we could do is, move into some of the more exciting stuff with autopilot deployment. So as we see, updates are underway. And after a reboot, you see that we're brought into our corporate sign-in screen. And so this is going to confirm that the device has already been registered with the organization's tenant through our autopilot. And so what we're seeing here is the Entra ID authentication. The user is going to be signing in with their standard work credentials. And from end user's point of view, this feels like a regular Windows sign-in. But under the hood, Intune is about to be applying all the required configurations and its security policies and your standard applications that you're deploying. So this is if you have a multi-factor authentication also set up, you can of course go through that as well as we see on our demo machine. And so past that, we see once that is complete, we're taken to the screen right here, and this is called our enrollment status page, or ESP for short. So the ESP is really designed to give users visibility into what's happening, while the device is being fully configured by Intune. Yeah, so right from the device preparation, Intune is getting all the devices that you need to be checking connectivity for. Microsoft services that your device is going to be enrolled into your our MDM. So this is where your device specific tokens are also going to be applied in the background. And so we can move on with this part here, and I can quickly skip through this as we it does take a little bit of time for this to be completed. And as this completes, it will automatically move towards our device setup part. So as we see here, this is where the most of the IT policies start to take effect. It's going to take, include things like your security baselines, your compliance policies, your app installations, and what are the IT admin has targeted for that device group. So, apps here could be, your Microsoft 365 suite, your VPN clients, your browsers, and whatever your organization has defined as a must-have software to be ready for use as the user lands on their desktop for the first time. So really, our goal is to have a zero-touch deployment. And depending on how our device is being set up and what apps we're deploying, your device may require reboot once this device setup phase has been completed. And with our machine, we'll notice that once I have all the apps that will get installed in. So the ESP tracks these applications, and once those apps are done, my machine reboots over here, and it will set up the account setup phase, which is going to be setting up a user profile here. And as we see, we jump back into our autopilot provisioning. So I'll skip this through, and it will, bring us back into the ESP profile. So right after that, the device prep and the device setup phase has already been completed. We jump into the account setup phase automatically. So this part right here is specific to the signed in user. So it's going to be applying user scope policies and configurations. So anything like your OneDrive settings, or if you're pushing user-based certificates, or even applications that are being installed in a user-based context, will be all brought down in this phase right here. So once your ESP is complete, your device can take you into a either if you have Windows Hello for Business setup, and in our tenant we do have that setup. So it's going to have us set up a secure authentication method. It's going that is meant to really replace your traditional passwords with biometrics or a PIN. And so in our case, we'll be setting up a PIN which is tied specifically to this device. So unlike a regular password, this PIN never leaves the device. It's backed up by a secure TPM chip, and it's much more harder to compromise. So, Windows Hello can also support facial recognition or fingerprints, and depending on how the configuration of your hardware is. But a PIN is the most common fallback and still, highly secure. So, as we see, we're able to set up our PIN, and there we go. We've landed into our desktop. Our setup is complete, and the user you can see, applications like Adobe Reader, DC that is already present. As I go through the apps here, we can see Company Portal is available, and all the Microsoft Suite apps that are available that I had made up as a required install. So we could basically make sure that this is true zero-touch provision experience. The user just signs in, and the rest of it is taken care of by the cloud. It's secure, consistent, and scalable. And if you have more applications that need to install, the user can simply open up Company Portal, which is sort of like a self-service experience. They can install optional apps, check for compliance, get device details, and without contacting IT. So that's really Autopilot in a nutshell. And Autopilot can be deployed in as a fully cloud-native Entra-joined machine. So it can also be deployed as a hybrid joined machine. So there are two modes that we can take. And a hybrid joined machine will basically ensure that a newly provisioned device also has presence on your on-prem Active Directory. But keep in mind that although Microsoft recommends new devices to be enrolled in as a cloud native using Microsoft Entra Join, deploying new devices as hybrid join is still a supported method. So CDW can help your organization here configure both scenarios. And I think that's pretty much it for our Autopilot demo. What I'll do is, we've kind of seen how Autopilot can automatically provision a device with our core configurations and applications. But let's take a look at how those applications are managed behind the scenes. So, one of the newer features available in the Intune Suite, as Shoaib mentioned, is the Enterprise Application Management System. So this, makes it easier for IT admins to deploy and maintain key business apps. So this is without needing to manually package or manually updating them. So I'll jump over to the Intune admin portal and show you what that looks like. All right. Bear with me for a second. And there we go. Okay. Perfect. So this is the Intune dashboard here. You'll be logging in through the intune.microsoft.com. And what you have is the apps section on the left-hand side. And what we can do here is, on the Windows side, we'll go in, and as you guys can see, we have a whole host of applications that we've deployed in, and you have different app types that you can go through. For our Enterprise Application Catalog, what we can do is create a new app and create an Enterprise App Catalog application. Select this, and this will open up a wizard for us that we will be going through. So for our demo, we'll select an app from the catalog. What we could do is Visual C++ could be one of the good applications for us to go ahead and install. So we'll select that, and as we see, we have the latest package available in the app catalog. So we'll select that. And the great thing with Microsoft Intune's Enterprise App Catalog is that it pre-fills all the data for you, so you don't have to manually type in anything. You can select a logo as well if you make this application available in the company portal. And so we'll click on Next. And as you guys can see, we have install command, uninstall command as well. So these are all fields that are pre-filled for you. And we rest assured that they'll be working as expected once we deploy them through our assignments. So you do have the luxury to modify these installation commands, or if you have some custom specific commands that need to be added in, you can always go ahead and modify these parameters. So we'll go ahead and click on next. Any requirements, any specific requirements that pertain to your application can be modified over here. We have our minimum OS. We can add in a script or any minimum physical memory required for that particular app. We can go ahead and set that here. And similarly, we can always edit the detection rules and have our own custom detection script as a detection rule for that application as well. But the great thing about the enterprise application management is that it gives you all these settings pre-filled right out of the box here. So click next. And within the assignments, you see you're given a choice of how you want to deploy this application. Either you can deploy it as a required app, so the application is going to install silently in the background for the user, or you can make it available for the enrolled devices. So essentially, the user will open up company portal, they'll go over to the apps section, and they have their own luxury to choose which apps they want to install on their machine. So we have that's basically it. And you'll be adding the application to your Intune environment. Click on Add App. That's just going to the wizard is going to complete, and it's going to deploy the application as to whatever our targeted assignments are. So that takes care of the app packaging piece, where we have a little bit of IT admins is going to get a little bit more flexibility there. We don't have to manually package those applications. And so we've kind of seen how easy it is to deploy apps, but from the enterprise app catalog. So let's take a look at one of the more valuable parts of the enterprise app management. And so that's keeping those apps up to date. So some applications within the catalog are considered self-updating. Now, these applications have a built-in update mechanism that will be left enabled. So these applications will automatically update themselves outside the Microsoft Intune or the IT admin's control. So a prime example of that is going to be a remote help application that we deploy using the enterprise app catalog. As you guys can see, this app can update itself. Our update button is grayed out, so we don't have to do anything from the portal itself. As one of the properties as we go into the install commands, we do see that vendor supports the automatic updates for this application. So really, all we have to just make sure that our network configurations allow access to these download locations. So you're downloading content directly from the vendor. So that takes care of the self-updating apps, but there are apps that don't self-update, and you have IT teams that have to come in, and it requires a bit of a manual intervention right here. So what we can do is go into Windows Apps, and so there's a blade here that is essentially built for the enterprise app catalog. So as we go into monitor enterprise app catalog with updates, we can see the apps that we've deployed using the app catalog, and so what provision versions we have in the environment, and what is the latest available version. So I can simply click in, monitor this tab daily, and see if there's any application that's come out with an update. Click on the update from the Intune, and we can then supersede this app with the latest version. So essentially, it will open up the same wizard that we went through, and it will, we can change any parameters that we need to see fit. And once we land into the supersedence part, it's going to automatically detect the previous package that we have in our environment. So we can uninstall previous version, and then so Intune will automatically uninstall the older version from our devices and install in this newer version. So that takes care of the app update hassle, and you still have to monitor the applications that don't self-update. But the good thing about it is that Intune and Microsoft will, update the application, and you'll always have a new version available in the catalog. So we can click next, assign our groups, and then we can review and create with this as well. So this really just streamlines this update process, and basically we're not being hassled around with a lot of the time that we need. So we have this enterprise app catalog in a nutshell. This is the value that it provides you. So what we do is within the remote help, and we'll jump right into kind of see that we're maintaining, it's going to, within our enterprise app catalog, we helping reduce manual efforts and, patching delays, and especially for fast moving apps like browsers and whatnot. But of course, with getting everything automated, it's, provisioning, whether it is your policies or apps, there still will be moments that, our user is going to hit a snag or needs live assistance. So that's where remote help is going to come in. It's going to be bridging the gap between centralized management and real-time support. So especially this is useful for users that are out in the field or working remotely. So, and this with Intune and Suite, you get this all built into Intune itself. So let's jump in over to remote help. I'll go into my devices blade. I'll click on Windows. And I can search for a Windows device within, with a primary user UPN. So I have Intune as a user test user account. We'll pick the machine that I want, and I'll open up the menu here from Intune. And so we see a bunch of options here, but we'll use the new remote assistance session to launch our remote help session. So we're gonna be, continuing this. What it'll do is it'll send a notification to user's device. So I'll just switch right over to our user's machine. And as we see, Shir-san is wanting to help you in your device. So I'll say, oh, the notification disappeared. We'll go in and launch this. So remote help, as you know, has been deployed on all our machines. So it will always be present. And so this application will launch up, connect to the Microsoft services in the background. And so it'll be waiting for our person to help you, we'll get our help session going. So I'll switch back over to our technician machine right here. And we will launch the remote help. We'll click our link, open this, and it will also automatically launch up the remote help application from our device. So this will also, again, connect to our Microsoft services in the background, and it will give us a bit of some permissions that it needs essentially from the user. So what we'll do, just wait for it to connect in. And so Intune test user who is ready for our help. So you can share it, either guide the user through screen share if you don't need full control, but if you need to open up some of the diagnostics and some run some commands, you can take full control of that device. So remote helps gives us that flexibility. We go in. So okay, this is waiting for the person to share the screen. Jump back into our end user machine. So we have the permission that is being asked, so we'll allow this permission. And this should be the last permission here. And so your assistant has control now. So we'll expand our technician machine. And this is it. We're able to help the user live from our machine right here. So what we have is, we can go ahead, open up any inventory or diagnostics that we have, we look at some logs, guide the user where they need to be able to work with, and one of the cool little feature of remote help is that, if you want to run some sessions in some application in administrator privileges, you can right click, for example, your command prompt. Remote help is going to, by default, it's not going to let the technician see the UAC prompt. And so what you could do is, there's a feature built in right here that we can take advantage of. So what we'll do is, launch this UAC prompt access. And so this will give us the admin session requested access. So what we'll do is we'll click OK. We'll go back into our command prompt. We can run this as administrator. So essentially now we don't get blocked, and our screen will show the UAC prompt that the technician needs. They can enter their own credentials to log in and work with the diagnostics for that end user. So remote help, a lot of tools built into it. Our user can chat with us as well as expand our user screen. They can chat with us directly through the built-in support system, and basically would be able to go in and respond to our user right from the get-go. So yeah, that's remote help in a nutshell. It's really is there to great for troubleshooting device settings, helping with app installations, or guiding a user through a task. So unlike traditional remote tools, this session is fully integrated with Intune, so it's governed by the same conditional access and compliance rules. It's basically, the one key important thing that I do want to also call out is that every remote help session is logged. So admins can review the session details, including who helped them, when and whether what control was granted. So this is important for your security and compliance and your support documentation. And once support is complete, I can simply end the session and close out any administrative windows I have open. And I can leave the session over here. Essentially, screen sharing has ended, and our user will be informed that this is, if you still need help, you can contact IT again. So it's quick, it's quick, secure, highly effective, and especially for remote or frontline workers who don't have easy access to in-person support. So we started with autopilot, showing you how a device can be fully set up from the cloud with a zero-touch deployment. And then we moved into enterprise application management, where apps are automatically deployed and kept up to date. And finally, we wrapped up with remote help, providing secure and real-time support when users are needing it the most. So thank you for your time, everyone. And I hope I get the chance to connect with some of you later down the road to showcase even more exciting Intune features and Intune Suite features. For now, I'll just pass back over to Shoaib and take it from there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ashir, for that fantastic demo. So we went through Windows Autopilot. We went through some of the advanced enterprise application management features available through the Intune Suite. And you guys saw live what remote help looks like, not only from an end user perspective, but from an IT admin perspective as well. So thank you so much for that, Ashir. And please keep in mind, guys, if you want more of a personalized demo for yourself, do get in touch with us and we can definitely facilitate that for you. Right. For now, let's talk a little bit about some of the standard offerings and services we have here at CDW Canada for Intune Suite and Intune itself as well, right? Now, there are a lot of features in Intune Suite. There's quite a bit of kind of the pillars to go through, kind of a lot of configuration required as well, right? So what we suggest is kind of running a pilot, maybe picking 5, 10, 50 devices from your current environment, running a pilot alongside our consultants to understand how that fits in your ecosystem today, right? Where is it that Cloud PKI can come in and help take over your essentially passwordless authentication, your remote help? If you guys are using TeamViewer today, that could easily be replaced with remote help with Intune Suite, right? We can help configure and pilot or POC this in your environment live. So you guys can not only get a little bit of a taste of it, but also moving forward, kind of enhance those capabilities for your users as well. Right, so if you're interested in running an Intune Suite pilot with us, please do get in touch. We would be happy to showcase some of the features of how they work live, right? Cloud PKI, and also what that would look like in your own environment as a test and dev, right? So definitely something that we could help with. Now, beyond Intune Suite, we do have a few other standard offerings that we can help with, right? Intune Autopilot assessments. Keep in mind, I just want to make sure I'm calling out the Windows 10, Windows 11 kind of being introduced towards the end of this year, and Microsoft requesting everyone to move on to Windows 11. Great time to start using Autopilot and leveraging the features of Autopilot to be able to provision those new devices to your users. We do also offer Microsoft 365 enterprise level assessments, right? Understanding how you've configured your M365 environment today and making sure that it's been configured according to Microsoft's best practices, right? We also offer SCCM and Intune co-management assessment and pilot. If you are currently using SCCM and want to plan out your kind of role or your path towards Microsoft Intune, then we can help you facilitate that, making sure that we first go into co-management mode for your pilot devices before we move all of the workloads within SCCM to the Intune side for production, right? Of course, this goes without saying, we do offer Intune customized implementation services based on your requirements and what you're looking to do in Intune, right? If you're not in Intune at the moment, you're currently using a different MDM tool and are already licensed on Intune and want to take advantage of it, then we can help you migrate off of that MDM solution and into Intune. Of course, we also help with Intune Suite full deployment, right? Of course, we would definitely recommend starting up with a pilot first before going into full deployment, making sure the capabilities match your expectations, and then we can help you kind of take that into production. Lastly, I do also want to shout out to our managed services team. We have fully fledged Intune managed services capabilities in CDW Canada. If you feel like your IT team is not strong enough to be able to manage Intune for a little while, we're happy to take that on for you, right? We charge you a specific amount per device, per user per month or per device per month, and we'd be able to take on your Intune environment for you. And all you would have to do is open up tickets with us, let us know exactly what you need from an Intune perspective. And lastly is the Windows 11 assessment and proof of concept, right? Of course, Windows 10 going away towards the end of the year. We want to make sure that you guys are ready for Windows 11, and that's where we can come in and help, making sure that your applications will work with Windows 11, nothing's going to break, right? We can do a quick assessment to ensure that before we move into production. Perfect. I saw a few questions coming in around Intune, around Defender. Please keep those coming. Whatever questions you have, our delivery folks are in the chat to help you understand how it can be made possible. Just a quick touch on the licensing piece. I saw a few licensing questions come in as well. So keep in mind, guys, whatever features from Intune Suite that we've discussed over here are available only as if you have Intune Plan 1 as a prerequisite, right? So make sure that Intune Plan 1 is a requirement as a prerequisite. Intune Plan 1 has stayed exactly the same. No changes have been made to it. It is still available to you through the Business Premium, M365 E3, E5, EMS E3, F1, and F3 plans. On top of that, you can purchase any of the add-ons mentioned over here under the Intune Suite or Intune Plan 2 as an add-on separately if you're looking for just that one feature, or you can look to buy an entire package of Intune Plan 2 or the Intune Suite and kind of do a pilot with us and understand which capabilities you want to move forward with, right? So please do get in touch with our licensing specialists. They can help you understand your Intune portfolio a little bit better, your requirements a little bit better, and match a license based on your requirements. From there, a solution architect can come on and help you understand how that would be deployed in your environment. From there, we can work together with our delivery folks. And if you want to get access to our delivery folks like Ashir and some of the other talented folks on our team, do get in touch with our account reps and we'd be happy to schedule a session. Lastly, I want to mention some of the resources that we have for you guys to kind of go through and understand what our Intune capabilities entail, go through it with a little bit more detail, our whatever capabilities we have in our offerings, it's highlighted a little bit more in detail through these resources. So please go through them if you ever get a chance. And we will be sending out a survey after this call, either later tonight or tomorrow early morning. This call has been recorded, so it will be shared with you guys as well. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on our Intune Suite webinar today. And I hope to see you again on the next one. Thank you. Cheers and bye-bye.